Alright, here we go. This is for lab number 5, conservation of energy. Here's my cover page. Alright, conservation of energy. Lab objectives came up with my own to determine the observation of energy. Conservation of energy among kinetic potential energy. To observe the conserved energy in a projectile by measuring mechanical energy to gain a deeper understanding into the areas of conservation of energy and work done. My hypothesis was I hypothesized that the conservation of total energy is going to be equal to the sum of the potential and kinetic energies. Furthermore, I believe it will remain constant throughout the experiment. Alright. These are my pre-lab questions. Anyway. Alright, for part A, I took my spring scale and I measured out with a rubber band along the centimeter side of the ruler, and I got the calculated the force. Each of the forces right here, and measure the distance. My elastic band, my rubber band wasn't that stretchy, so I had to cut it down quite a bit. So I went 2 centimeters instead of 5. Average out the forces. Distance remained constant, just moving up 2 instead of 5. And then calculate the work by taking this value and timing it by the distance. Again, I'm not sure if that was right. I had some confusion, so there might be error in that. But that was the work that I got. It's actually some pictures of the work that I did. Force average, here we go. Find the force work. There's that. Then later on I did the average height. Part A, post-lab questions. I tried my best to create the force versus displacement chart on Excel. It was giving me some trouble. It was just highlighting one point, and I couldn't really figure it out. So this is probably wrong, but I did force versus displacement. Force on the y, distance on the x. Then I took that equation that's displayed there on the scatter plot, and I answered question 2, calculating the work done by the spring. Again, because the chart's wrong, the equation is probably wrong. Because the equation is probably wrong, this answer is probably incorrect. However, I did follow the process that I've been learning. Work equals force times distance, and yeah, ultimately ended up with this value. Work done by the spring can be broken down. Okay, so that was when I filled out this work. Then I totaled it up later on in post-lab questions. Yeah, so here's the total. Added up all the work forces that I generated manually. Turned out to be positive 0.934 joules. Then I took the difference of that being positive plus 0.8984900015 joules. And there's approximately like a 0.84 difference between the work done manually and the work that I got from the Excel scatter plot. This is probably mainly due to error, like I said. But I wasn't confident in either situation, so it could be very incorrect. Oh yeah, there's my answer for that one. For part B, I took a ball and I took multiple balls, and I did 3 trials of each, dropping them from about a meter high, which is like 39-40 inches, and so I set up a tape measure and dropped them from that height, and then recorded them in slow motion and got the bounce back height. Averaged those totals out and got that. And that's what the average height is right here. Next I have a short video. I can showing first the measuring of the first part, and then sorry, it's sideways, but there's me dropping the ball. There we go. That's that. Pretty simple. For these post-lab questions, this was the longest question it took me to do, calculating like the percent error and the kinetic error. Oh, maybe it wasn't the longest, but it was definitely tedious, just tedious work. I took the equations that we've been learning, and I applied the mass constant and height to each of them, where they fit. Filled in the equations. So that was pretty easy, just tedious. And then through that question, I filled out this table, calculating its speed. Energy equals half mass velocity squared. Velocity equals square root of 2 times 2 energy over mass. Plug those values in to get these values: velocity, speed. For part C is just a data analysis, so giving us a certain size mass ball, and then giving us a scenario and telling us to figure it out. So most of these I did in my head, unfortunately, so I don't have the paper. However, I do have a little bit where I just wrote out the same equations that we've just been working with. Right here, there's a PE, KE, TE, all those, just use that to manipulate, and of course the leapfrog, to get all of these values, which is pretty easy. I wasn't able to get the last one. I don't know if I was supposed to or not. Lastly, for part C questions, I graphed this. This came out a bit easier than the other chart. As you can see, the potential energy slopes down, the kinetic energy slopes up, and the total energy stays a constant horizontal line. That's just showing the conserved energy in a straight line, decreasing potential energy over time, increasing kinetic energy over time. And one limitation to the leapfrog method is that last column. I wasn't able to fill it out because I needed the values afterward, but if I had that, then that wouldn't be the last column, and it just keep continuing process. So you never have a full table of complete data, which is a downside in my opinion. Alright, that's it for lab number 5. Thank you and have a good day.